age, uh, and it's FOC, right, Ila?
Yes. So
It's free of charge. I think outside, she's charging for like a few hundreds for an hour, but this morning she's doing it for Lillahi Ta'ala. So, uh, kita berdoa supaya your presentation will go on smoothly and all of us will enjoy and also get the benefits of the knowledge, the benefits, something as takeaways from the talk. So the floor is yours, Dr. Fazila.
thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Jasmine, the Dean for Center for Language Studies. All right, everyone, it's 10:31 now. We will start our webinar for today. So our webinar for today is entitled Trustworthy Storytelling for Presentations, for Oral Presentation. Okay, because if if we are presenting, right, and people don't trust us, okay, it will not give impact to the listeners. All right, right now, okay, whatever that I'm telling you, whatever that I'm sharing with you, if you are not trusting me, you won't be listening. Okay, so I am using my experience as the head coach for UTH. So I'm looking at the discourse, oral presentation discourse of political discourse and speech research of politicians and the media. Okay, so let's start now. Okay, I'm using too much so. All right, I'm not supposed to use too much so. So please bear in mind later on when you are presenting, do not use too much of hedging, right? So, right, those are called fillers. Okay, now your research is good. All right, when you are in the setting of a researcher, okay, you know that your research is good, but sometimes you don't know how to present it well. So, and all right, many postgraduates, students, and young researchers, you need to understand your research deeply, but you struggle to explain it clearly and confidently because, as I am talking, all right, our mouth structure um, is different from one person to another. All right. How many teeth you have? All right. For example, I don't have many teeth inside. Also affect our pronunciation later on. It becomes a problem in 3MT, your Viva, and also your conferences. So today we are going to focus on one key idea, which is your research must not only be correct, but it must be trusted and understood. Okay. So what is the problem? There is a friction. So I'm asking Google Notebook to help me, right? We have the notes. We just put into Google Notebook, and they will come up to something like this. So there is the problem is years of methodical, high quality research lose their power in the final miles of delivery. So it is very important when you are presenting in poster presentations in 3MT. Okay, for today I will focus on 3MT. 3 minute research because it is popular in Australia. In my previous university, we have to present our progress report in 3 minutes. And you have a strong research, but in during the energy dissipation, it becomes a weak presentation, so it lost the impact, right? So you're taking the stake. The stake is understanding the facts, impact, and then visibility determines influence, and the reality without a structured narrative, groundbreaking data becomes common voice. Okay. Okay. So why does it matter? Because a good presentation, when you give an understanding to the audience, it will give an impact. It will bring impact. And with the visibility, it will give influence. That's why in 3MT, 3 minute thesis competition, you are all allowed to present only one slide, to have only one slide in your presentation. And for the slides, how the kind of slides that you should have, I will not cover it today, but I will cover it later in for Center for Graduate Studies. We will have a 3 hour workshop on how to formulate your um, slides, okay, the type of photos, the types of image that you should have, and we will really focus on that. But for today, we are going to focus on something else, okay? And between the difference between the weak presentations and the strong presentations, as you can see, it involves the content, architecture, all right, the tone and delivery. You can see that if I am nervous, I tend to speak fast. If I am calm, I will speak a little bit of slowly, and then I will enunciate, meaning that pronouncing word by word, right? So in terms of content, please do not have data dumping, which is information overload, because if you want to have a strong presentation, you should have a clear message, curated insights, all right? In terms of architecture, there is no structure, and then you are going to wandering. This is what we call by wandering narrative. So we are going to look at the ABT framework, narrative tension, and then the tone. If your presentation is weak, it will be dry and very academic in 3MT, right? And it will be sounding like a pathetic. And if you have a strong presentation, this is what I'm going to put in a strategic attitude, where we will call it affect when it comes to your emotion, judgment, and appreciation. Judgment is you look at how people behave, whereas appreciation is how do you put the value of your research. This is something new, right? Which is we from the CCOM are trying to put in the ABT. And the delivery, if it's a weak presentation, we will have no emphasis, very rushed and very flat. So if you have a strong presentation, it will be intelligible with the pacing, all right, pause and stress. Because in English, all right, it's unlike Bahasa Malaysia or unlike Bahasa Indonesia, we have stress, whereby we stress on the words that are important to us. All right. Now, when we are giving presentation, it is also very important to look at the structure, the pronunciation, and the syllables of the words. For example, if I say the word determination, all right, determination, it is 5 syllables. Or if I say to determine, it will be like 3 syllables. To determine, 4 syllables. So the amount of syllables in your presentation also plays a role to give an impact. So that's why before you give your presentation, you need to practice. Okay, next. So this is my framework, the ABT, and but therefore the attitude, the intelligibility. That's five, 5 syllables, and your delivery. So the and, but, and therefore, it establishes the baseline reality and builds initial consensus with the audience. All right. This is a framework. You don't have to use the word and, but, and therefore in your presentation, but okay, but it is a framing whereby audience can understand. Okay. So in the but, BUT, all right? It introduces the conflict, the unknown, or the critical problem that demands attention, and therefore is the resolution. So in therefore, you also need to put in your methodology, your findings, and your contribution to knowledge. That's why if you are applying, or if you want to take part in the 3 minute thesis competition, you at least you should be in the semester where you have presented your proposal defense, or at least you should have some findings. So it can give some impact to the listener. Okay, so this is the translating rigid research components into a fluid narrative arc, all right? You can see the bridge. Okay, this is done by Notebook LM. See how they make it for us. Yeah, and it's about the context, the known landscape of your field, right? Therefore, all right, is the or but is the gap, the specific missing knowledge or urgent problem. Okay, and therefore is the methods in it. The therefore is actually the bridge, and from that it will give you an impact, which is which is the contribution, the new reality your research makes possible. Okay. Okay. So this is between the A-B-T example between the weak and strong. So for example, many studies exist. This study is important. So what? Right? This is always being done by the students when you are presenting in your 3MT. It becomes strong when many, I'm not talking about money, all right? Many and money. So this is very important, all right? The slip of tongue in your presentation always or can destroy your delivery. Okay, between words, between the sound system, bah and bah, all right? And all right, because you really need to open your mouth when we are speaking in English. Otherwise, people will not listen and understand. Intelligibility means understanding, how people understand you of what you are saying. So many studies exist and highlight the importance of student engagement. But all right, however, okay, they do not address low-level learners effectively. Therefore, this study investigates. So your therefore must include methodology, findings, and contribution. You have 3 minutes. 3 minutes, this is competition, is for you to put everything in 3 minutes using one slide. Okay. So this is the example of the A grade using ABT. Many ESL students struggle with speaking anxiety and many research had been conducted. But current teaching methods fail to improve participation. Therefore, this study used a 6-week intervention with 40 learners, found increased engagement, and contributes a practical approach for improving speaking confidence. All right, this is an advanced example of the ABT. I have not gone through the attitude and also the delivery yet. Okay, so let's move on to the language of trust. This is by Martin and White's appraisal framework. So I use his framework, their framework, to inject, right, that affect, control feelings and emotional alignment. So if you have words or vocabulary like I was worried, judgment, it controls the ethics, the logic, and coherence. They acted responsibly. And appreciation, it controls values, aesthetics, and meaning. This is meaningful. So I will go deeper during the workshop later on, all right? So what does affect is more on feelings. So when we are presenting in our 3MT, all right, the first part, which is the hook, the end part, right? You should have words more on on effect, which controls the emotion of the listeners. Okay, and judgment usually is in therefore or but, and appreciation is the therefore. When you have talk about your methodology, your findings, and your contribution to knowledge, this is very important. So credibility and authenticity emerge when these three dials, all right, how you put in, are balanced and context appropriate. So affect, as I said earlier, the language of personal emotion and internal feeling. So I was deeply worried about the community's response. So you can put this in the hook to give emotion, to give an emotional value to the listeners or to the audience. Right, next. Is the judgment, the language used to evaluate human behavior, moral character, and ethics. The structural function is to establish credibility, moral alignment, and the narrator's ethical baseline, right? So the team acted swiftly and responsibly to mitigate the crisis. So your product, right, or your research can mitigate the crisis, can swiftly mitigate the crisis. You can use it. So appreciation is the language used to evaluate things, system, frameworks, or outcomes. So the structural function would demonstrate consistency, logical rigor, and aesthetic or practical value. It gives value. This framework is highly effective and intuitively designed. So you need to be careful when you are saying highly effective, all right, because you need to give the dials a balance, all right? You put a little bit of attitude in your presentation, it will enhance the feelings of the audience, but it can also downgrade your presentation. So we will cover this later also in the workshop, all right, when you are going to write your 3-minute thesis or your presentation. So when we combine ABT plus attitude, this is how it looks, all right? And is to hook the human connection to the context. Judgment is but, all right, because you are establishing the problem statement in but, right? The credibility of the problem. That's why you put a bit of judgment, all right, of the behavior of whatever that I have taught earlier, and appreciation. So therefore, is the appreciation whereby you deliver the evidence-based value. This is where your outcome comes in, your findings comes in, how these findings can contribute to new knowledge. All right, we need to understand that in every research that we have done, that we do, all right, that we are conducting, it needs, even though it's very small, it's a very thin line, it's very small, all right, but it can also contribute to knowledge. So mapping the emotional and logical journey. So attitude forces serve as the connective tissue for structural logic. Okay, so this is the new framework. So take 1 minute, all right? Your effect, why it matters, your judgment, why we trust it, your appreciation, why is it valuable, especially when it comes to your research, why it matters. So it brings happiness to people because when you put effect, it gives feelings to the listener. Judgment is why should we trust your methodology? Why should we trust your research? What does your research? Why does your research is so important to us? And why in appreciation? Why is it valuable? You know, just between judgment and appreciation, there are two things, all right? Appreciation is the value that you put on your research. The judgment is how you are going to make people trust you using words, all right? Using effective words to make people trust you. So this is the narrative forces, an example, all right? The common mistake here, the information here is overload and no structure. Um, I will read it. Okay, current models of cellular regeneration are well documented in the literature and provide a general baseline for tissue engineering application across various clinical and methodological. However, traditional scaffolding techniques fail to integrate properly. So when we are presenting, especially in 3-minute thesis competition, there is a level of your audience, all right? Now, your audience not only involve people who are in the field of cellular regeneration, but it includes people like me, right? Who are from a different field, who are from humanities and sociology. I wouldn't understand the word cell necrosis. I wouldn't understand microvascular. But, all right, with the ABT framework, you are going to structure and current models of cellular regeneration are well documented and provide a baseline for tissue engineering. But, all right, however, you can also use, however, traditional scaffolding techniques fail to integrate at the microvascular level, leading to cell necrosis. This is the problem statement. Therefore, we engineered a biomimetic hydrogel that promotes rapid vascularizations and sustains cell viability. I can only understand hydrogel because there is there is a medication called hydroxin that can improve your wound. All right, so this one is even though it's structured, it is difficult for layperson who are professional to understand. So the focus of 3MT is to make the public understand your research. Okay, so this is basically the word hydrogel would tell the audience, oh, okay, this is actually this person is trying to develop, right? Develop medicine, for example, medicine or anything, because I don't really understand what is happening here. Okay, can somebody highlight me or tell me what is this research about? Okay, that would be good. Okay, so this is when you are injecting attitude translates, all right? It translates dry facts into compelling human states. So when we are presenting our oral presentation, we are dealing with human. And you need to understand that sometimes as human beings, we have a very low, what do you call it? Low tolerance, all right? Low tolerance when it comes to people talking too much. So that's why we have 3-minute thesis competitions. And I'm going to read this one. And current models of cellular regeneration address a critical need, yet millions face devastating outcomes from tissue rejection. Now, the word devastating or devastating, how do you pronounce that? Okay, so if you're unsure, please look at synonym.com, right? This is for postgrad. Even my undergrad students, I would advise them to look at synonym.com and you look at how to pronounce that word, because there are RP, received pronunciation, British pronunciation, or American pronunciations. Now, when it comes to pronunciations, you can either use American, or you can even use British, or you can even use Australian if you want, all right? As long as people can understand you and the pronunciation is correct. If some words are difficult for you to pronounce, okay, try to change to other synonyms. All right. So we are going to look this further when we are doing the workshop later on, right? So let's continue. This is the judgment assessing the literature. Traditional scaffolding techniques are fundamentally flawed and outdated, right? Our rigorous analysis shows they fail at the microvascular level. Therefore, we engineered a breakthrough biomimetic hydrogel that provides a highly sustainable environment for rapid vascularization. So that is where I injected, all right, the effect, the judgment, all right, and also the appreciation, the value. The value is very important when you are talking about your research. Effect is at the beginning, whereby at the whole you can use narrative, you can use questions, and we will go into this further when we have the workshop later on, right? So between clarity and understanding, we also need to have a very good pronunciation, pacing. I do have problems with pronunciations and with the pacing and the pausing and the stress in my presentation. So that's why sometimes all the time, right, before we present or even before we go to class, I will look at the words that I need to refer to dictionary, because English is not our first language. It's not our native language, right? English is our second language and probably our third language. So refer to dictionary. We have dictionary.com or synonym.com, whereby it will give you on how to pronounce words. To determine, not determine. All right. Advertisement or advertisement, you need to focus on that, on the pronunciation. Questionnaire or questionnaire, right? So Pronunciation, the pacing, pausing where you stop for a while. Pacing means the tone, the pitch, how to use that, and the stress. Now, in English, stress deal with the words that you want to highlight. All right. So the primary goal in our oral presentation is to make to clarify and understand through acoustic engineering in speech because it requires precise pronunciation. So you can see here the pacing, the speed of delivery, controlling cognitive load. Pausing is the strategic silence to allow the audience to process complex data, and stress, emphasizing key variables to guide the listener's ear. Okay, right now, I'm shouting because I am stressing the word right now. Okay, but I am pausing for a while for my audience to listen to me. Okay, now next we have the chunking. See, I am stressing some of the words. Grouping related ideas, meaning that you will have chunking. You will see how chunking looks like. You should have, once you have uh, the script, all right, for your 3MT or for your oral presentation, you will do chunking and practice. So this is how chunking looks like. Okay, you have the ABT structure, you have the strategic attitude, and you should have the intelligible delivery. Integration complete. Okay, ABT structure, you have the strategic attitude and intelligible delivery. Current models of cellular regeneration, pause, there's a chunking there, all right, address a critical need, pause, yet millions face devastating outcomes from tissue rejection. Traditional scaffolding techniques are fundamentally flawed and outdated. Our rigorous analysis shows they fail at the microvascular level. So you can see that, all right? There is the chunking, the pausing, and the pacing. So here we are. We are at the lasting influence. We need to influence people, okay, in 3MT, in oral presentation. Why to have oral presentation? Why do you need 3MT? Because we want to influence people. We want to make people trust us of our research that we have done the best, even though our contribution is small. But, right? But it will give an impact to the listener. So this is a strategic pausing and stress. You will create cognitive breathing room. So this is on the zero emphasis. If you have monotone and rush, high cognitive load, zero emphasis. Right? And then you have, if you see here, all right, that looks like my heartbeat right now. You can see the spike here. It means that spike in here means stress, right? Home. I am going home. That is the stress. Intelligible delivery engineered for immediate comprehension. And this is the gap, meaning that the pause. And grouping here is the words that when you are talking, right? This is when you are speaking, okay, ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to present my work. I'm doing something on linguistics evaluation, which is a fact that is monotone. But if I say, ladies and gentlemen, all right, just imagine if, all right, every time words coming out from our mouths, we are being evaluated. See, there's a pause there. Okay, so this is on paralinguistics. We have another 1 minute. Oh no, half an hour. Tone, pitch, volume, and pace. And what are tone, pitch, volume, and pace? So in terms of paralinguistics, control how the audience processes complex information. What are the speech elements? Pronunciation, clarity of individual sounds, and then we have the volume, projections, and dynamic range, the pitch, tone, and vocal modulation, pace, speed of delivery, pausing and stress, strategic, silence, and emphasis. So the delivery impact here, these mechanical elements are the sole drivers of presenter confidence and audience engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. So you should have the paralinguistics that include pronunciation, your volume, your pitch, your pace, speed of delivery, pausing, and stressing. I can see Karthik is smiling. Okay, this is on non-verbal and paralinguistic cues that act as subconscious trust signals. Appearance, of course, appearance. I'm wearing pink today, so what does it represent? I don't know what does it represent. I'm not very good at colors. I just wear whatever that I'm that I see, all right? Your appearance should be professional, neat, and appropriate to signals respect for for the audience. As a Muslimah, all right, as a Muslim, we should wear appropriately, as according to our Islamic law, all right? But right, we should look neat and professional at the same time. Your posture open and confident. We will go into how your posture looks like when we are talking, because especially because sometimes the 3MT they have hybrid, right? Whereby you have to stand to show your head until your waistline, and then you also need to show your hands movement. Okay, you can see that my hands movement. It's different, all right? If you know sign language, okay, if you watch televisions, right? When the news, especially when there is a translator for sign language, the way that they use the hand, open and confident, all right, signals authority over the material. Your hands should be like this. Don't move about. Please make sure that your hands come up here only. All right, you don't go up here unless you are talking about my head, my eyes, my nose. All right, you're pointing to things. All right, posture opens and confident. Signals authority over your material. All right, because you own your research. The research is owned by you. This is my research. This is my methodology, and what I am presenting to you is something valuable. And I put value to my research. And according to you should talk about your methodology also, right? And paralinguistics, it calibrated your tone, your pitch, and volume, frames the emotional intent of the words. Where do you want to stress it? So delivery does not rescue bad content, all right? But it guarantees that good content is actually received. Okay. So far, do you have any questions? Yes, Dimas, do you have any questions? No? Okay. So far we have covered the ABT, and but therefore it's just a structure whereby the end part A and D, you situate your research. You talk about you're trying to get the hook, you're trying to hook the audience. You can use narrative, you can use questions, right? But is this problem statement, and therefore is your methodology, your findings, and also your contribution to knowledge, that your impact. All right, this is the voice modulation to engage the audience. So when you are presenting, please make sure that you don't cover your mouth with your hands. Right? It shows that you are very you are not confident at all. Okay. Don't play with your ears, because when people play with their ears, you are trying to, it shows that you are not sincere. Okay. Now with the hook, um, narrative, descriptive, and right, narrative, descriptive, you can also use humor. All right. So if you want to know about humor, I will ask Dr. Azmi to give a little bit about what kind of humor, because we have don't ever use pointed humor or dark humor. Right. There are many types of humor, and don't be a stand-up comedian. All right. You are not going to do that. Okay, this is the voice modulation to engage the audience. By the way, I will invite Dr. Azmi to talk about humor, how you can entice, the word entice itself, entice your audience to listen to you when you are presenting. Okay, so um, we have peach, not peach. Peach is a fruit, peach, all right? it shows the mood and your attitude intention. The tone reflects your personality, your mood, and your attitude. The volume, all right? If it's loud volume, it reflects confidence and energy interest. Pace. If you're too fast, if you're too fast like me, I'm talking too fast right now, it shows your excitement, nervousness, and boredom. Right? So nervous. When you are nervous, you tend to have a very fast pace. Indicates higher pace, it reflects boredom. So pitch, the highest pitch, it reflects your attitude and your excitement, right? If the pitch is high, if the pitch is low, if the pitch is low, it reflects authority, seriousness, and sincerity. I am very sincere with you now. Your tone, if it's loud, enthusiasm. If your tone is soft, it reflects. That is how we engage the audience. In the and in introduction. Volume, confidence. If it's loud, passion, importance, emphasis. I would like to emphasize this. Oral presentation is very important for your grades. However, if it's soft, it reflects intimacy, calmness, and gentleness. That's why you can see mothers when they have soft parenting, gentle parenting, they are very soft. But I did not trust in gentle parenting. I'm sorry. So the pace, if it's fast, it reflects excitement. If it's slow pace, importance. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to stress that this oral presentation is very important for you. So it's slow. All right, you can see that. Okay, and we will go into this later when we go for the workshop. All right, everybody can join, and I think Fika is here, and she will CGS will handle, GSA will handle everything. So the delivery impact. All right, why do I cover my mouth with my hands? It shows that I'm nervous, right? When you are in a meeting, if you cover your mouth, if you cover your nose, if you are playing with your ears, it shows that you are nervous, right? Or you are too relaxed if you do like this. Okay. So delivery impact, it shows confidence and engagement of the audience. So this is the master blueprint for trustworthy influence. You have the structure and but therefore, and then the attitude effect is to humanize the audience. All right. Delivery, slow pacing. Right? And then you have the judgment, you build trust. But this is where the problem comes in, right? Not many people understand. So you pause and emphasize. But, all right, so many people do not understand that oral presentations exercises is very important. Therefore, you have judgment, appreciation, and show value. Therefore, right, we are organizing this webinar, all right, to stress key impact. So you can see that you have the structure, you have the attitude, and you have the delivery. And but therefore, so this master blueprint will be used in our workshop later on. I'm not sure when. I think it's going to be next month. Whatever it is, everybody you need to contact Miss Pika from GSA UTHM to know more about the workshop. All right. It will be interesting because you are going to learn on how to use your voice, modulations, everything. Okay. So practice activity, you are going to build your ABT right now. Okay. Go back and look at your research and look at your oral presentation. Does it have the ABT? And then try to apply the attitude. Okay, affect, judgment, and appreciations. During the workshop, I will also give you some examples, right? We will work together, right? Because this is very important. The workshop will be conducted face to face. So everybody is invited, but it's up to CGS on how many people that we can slot in. Okay. All right. This is on self-reflections when you're having oral presentation. Do you pause when you present? Do you is your presentation clear? All right. Um, are you confident when you are presenting? It, nervousness, to feel very nervous, to feel that um the cat just got my tongue, or there are butterflies in my stomach. You always feel like that, right? That is normal, right? But if you have anxiety, that leads to depression. All right. So you need to see a doctor first, all right, on how to overcome your depressions or your anxiety when you want to present. But, all right, but let me tell you, when you are doing your research, when you are doing your PhD, when you are doing your master's, all right, you need to be, you are in the field of um, that you are going to communicate with humans. Right? So you need to overcome your anxiety and or your whatever that you have. Stage fright, for example. So one of the ways for people to overcome stage fright is to take part in drama, in presentation, becoming something else. You have the persona. The personification is very important when you are going up the stage, right? So far, I think we don't have any drama club yet, but it's good, right? Because you learn on how to project your voice, you learn how to look at the audience, eye contact with the audience. You have your emotion, you can mask your emotions, you can become someone else when you are on stage, because we need to remember, right? We are when we are in front of people, when we are among the audience, when we are in the public, we are someone else. Sometimes we have to mask our real self. Our real selves can only be seen by those who are very close to us. Our family, for example, at home. You can be anyone. You can be Tarzan. You can be Jamie. All right, it's up to you. But when you're outside and you are a professional and you are doing oral presentation, please be professionals. Because I do see people giving oral presentations that they are trying to be playful. It's okay because you can give your personifications, but don't try to be like Marilyn Monroe, because when you are presenting an oral presentation, a professional oral presentation, don't be like don't be like Marilyn Monroe on stage, right? So yeah, you should have the you should think of what kind of persona that you're going to give to the audience, right? Okay, so this is the checklist: structure, credibility, clarity, and delivery. So 3MT, 3-minute thesis competition will focus on your clear message, right? That's why we have the ABT, we have the attitude, and the strong delivery, which include paralinguistics, pacing, pause, and chunking. Chunking is something new, right? You never seen that. So chunking is like you have a group of words, you do chunking, where chunking is commonly used by those who want to give a pause, so that you know when to give your pause. Now, in if you're presenting like towards to many audience, you will look at the audience, right? And we have what we call by that. All right, 3 second that, 3 second that, 3 second over that. All right, and then when you pause, you move your body to another side to give a new idea or to present something new, right? Okay, I forgot the name um that you use for that. It has been like a long time whereby when I was with the UCITV, so we have done something on storyboarding, on how to look at the camera, that kind of things. It was like a long time ago. So I do forget things, right? Okay, now let's recap. So this is on the language, right? The language that we can use, right? That we need to use when we are presenting. You can see here, you can see here the general public here, right? And then 3MT is for intelligent non-expert, right? The domain expert is the purple here, and then the blue one is discipline expert, and technical expert is the green one. So let's look at the technical expert. For example, computer vision here, MPCTH based signature. What's that? Signatures on PQDS. This is on machine learning. And then digital signatures, post quantum, this is on data science. And then, however, all right, however, if you now we are here, right? Your audience will be between the red one and the purple one, between the domain expert and also the intelligent expert here. The general public, you can say secure information and communication techniques. All right, this is for the general public. So you need to use a simple language that the intelligent non-expert and the general public can understand. Don't use words for the domain expert, the discipline expert, and technical expert to understand. Okay, so general public and intelligent non-expert. So this is the thing, the most important thing as a recap when you want to organize your script. 3-minute thesis competition. So actually, even if you go for any other oral presentations, competitions, the listeners wouldn't go further more than 3 minutes, right? So as much as you can, right? Try uh, to compact, to make it your presentation compact and easy to understand for people using the ABT, and put a little bit of attitude language, attitudinal language in your presentation. Okay, so this is the 4 pillars of presentation mastery. It requires structure, attitude, and delivery. You have the ABT structure just now. Attitude plus intelligible delivery, it gives impact to the listeners. All right. Clear message is focused, credible method is trusted, compelling, stakes are fair, stakes, not stakes, or confident deliveries. So between stakes and stake. All right. So these words, synonym, the words that sounds the same, but spelled differently. So you need to be careful when you are writing your draft for your oral presentation. So this is very important. So when we go for the workshop, try to have your script ready, 3-minute script, and then we are going to look at it. And we will change a little bit when you want to go for your 3-minute thesis competition or any oral presentations, even your Viva if you want, right? So for Viva, it will be like 10 to 15 minutes. You have the slides in front of you, so you just say things like that. As long as you can answer the questions from the examiner, it'll be good for you. But if you fail to answer, it will be difficult for you also. Okay. So this is again, all right, the recap. And your improvement strategy, you should practice, refine, and repeat. Okay. So the ultimate output of trustworthy storytelling, the 4Cs, clear, the audience instantly grabs the context, the gap, and the contribution without cognitive fatigue. All right. Please tell me if anyone have cognitive fatigue right now with my framework. Credible, rigorous methodology, and confident judgment instill absolute trust. Now, sometimes you feel that, is my research good enough for me to enter 3MT? Yes, your research is good enough to enter 3MT. It is how you formulate your words, it is how you write your sentences that can enhance your research. Okay? It also needs to be compelling, the human relevance, effect, and narrative tension, but make it impossible to look away, right? Confident, the presenter's mastery of paralinguistics and pacing asserts undeniable authority. Okay, so 4, 6. Clear, it needs to be clear, it needs to be credible, it needs to be compelling, it needs to be confident. Now, sometimes I would see that some of the presenters, okay, they are more like storytelling. Like, let me try it in bahasa Melayu, in bahasa Melayu. Like, pada suatu hari, no, you're not going to that. Just imagine if it happened to you, blah, blah, blah. Imagine. Don't be like that. All right? Because in English, all right, what we need to have is the stress, the pause, the pacing, and also the chunking. That is the most important thing when we are presenting in English. Now, when we are presenting in Malay or any other language, it will be different. All right. Everyone here, English is not our first language. All right. So try not to be the native speaker in a way that you are trying to exaggerate or okay, in my dream, last night I had a dream I ate some butter. No, don't do that. All right. Exaggerating on the R, like you want to sound like more American, unless you are using American slang all the way. But please make sure that you pronounce it well. Butter, all right? Like the word salmon, not salmon, it's salmon, it's almond, it's milk, okay? And bread or bread or bread or read, all right? So something like that. So you need to be careful. Please refer to synonym.com, synonym.com, or dictionary.com, whereby they have the thesaurus, or you can also go to thesaurus.com, thesaurus.com, all right? Because sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, the word, let's say, methodology, or the word photograph, photography, the way it has syllables, and inside the photography, you stress on the top, photography, right? It has 4 syllables. So even in one word, if you have a few syllables, compelling is not compelling, all right? It's compelling. It's confident, right? So the stress is on the word, is in the syllables confident, that kind of thing. So you need to go to thesaurus.com or dictionary.com to listen to RP. RP is received pronunciation, the British one. Okay, the audience, for example, if you want to use British way of speaking, the RP, please make it all the way British pronunciation. Don't mix American, British, or Australian or slang or accent, all right, all the way. The ultimate output of trustworthy. No, don't do that. Storytelling, the forces, that kind of thing, right? Okay. So you need to deliver the story so they feel it. All right. Trust it and understand it. Feel it, trust it, understand it. Okay. I think that's all from me. So do you have any questions? You are free to ask me. And let's see, okay, let me stop sharing for a while to see if we have any question. Oh, we have some chat here. Oh, voice cut off? Voice okay now? Okay, thank you very much. Can you share what approach we can use to answer hostile Q&A? How we can maintain our authority during presentation? Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Hafizul. You are asking for Viva, right? You see, I've been into Viva as a Viva examiner, like not a couple of times, but many times. Yeah, I can send you the presentation. Do you want to send the PowerPoint, the slides? Yes, I can. Postgraduate students, hostile Q&A. You know, it becomes hostile when the examiner thinks that you are not giving enough in your presentation, right? Especially they will start with the questions. How do you, why is it that your research questions is not uh, relevant to your findings, right? How do you answer your research questions? Your research questions does not correlate with your problem statement, that kind of things, right? So how we can maintain our authority? Like I said earlier, okay, go slowly, all right? Pace yourself, brace yourself, right? Brace yourself, calm, calm down, all right? Okay? Try to digest what the examiner wants or what the assessor wants actually. Okay. Sometimes they become like that because they want to test you whether you are a calm person or not. Okay. I do get nervous when people ask me so much questions, especially when we are on stage. Okay. So and then maintain slow pace. You can if you try to answer it quickly, I mean the pace, the stress is everywhere, it shows that you're nervous, right? But if you remain calm and say, okay, my suggestion is that when we have blah blah blah, we can do like this. All right. And I have done my research, right? And based on whatever. The thing is, everyone, all right, if you understand your research well, if you understand what you are doing, you will have no problem answering to any questions, all right? Even for now, I can remember what my research was on, right? I was looking at the newspapers, I was looking at how people communicate, I was looking at this structure of the sentences, and I looked at the evaluative language of the social actors among the government sectors, the politicians, teachers, and also the graduate, because I was doing something on graduate employability. Okay. Thank you, Hafizo. That was a very good question. So maintain authority. Look at the piece I will send you. Thank you, Hafizo. Welcome. Any more questions that you would like to ask? You can ask me, you can open your microphone and you can ask me in English because if you want to try, right? Let's have a conversation. Okay. Something that cover their face like a niqab or a mask or the appearance, it really matters. No, you cannot wear. You cannot wear any niqab or you cannot wear mask because the audience would like to see your facial expressions, how you look in front of the audience. You can wear glasses if you want, but the audience will look at your eyes. All right. Right now, when I am presenting, my camera is outside. So I really need to look at the audience like this. Okay. What else? You're welcome, Nurul Hashima. Is there any more questions that you would like to ask? Okay. Sometimes, all right. Yes.
May I,
Sure,
ma'am?
Dimas, when you are asking questions, all right, don't hold your head because it shows that you are nervous and your
Okay.
eyes is yeah, your eyes is everywhere. Just look at the camera. Just look at the
Uh,
camera. All right.
yeah, you,
Yes, please.
sorry, I'm quite nervous right now. Thank you, doctor, for the time. I want to ask sometimes, uh, greetings from Indonesia. My name is Dimas Akmarul Putra. I'm a FTK student, UTHM. Uh, I wanna, can you give me advice, ma'am? Because whenever I being in progress, for example, like I am presenting my research progress or maybe research colloquium, uh, sometimes I'm being nervous, maybe because I have a feeling, I have a feeling my lecturer and my supervisors is very good person, and sometimes I'm feeling nervous about if I want to answer the examinee's question. I'm feeling scared. Is it good enough for my supervisor? I'm feeling I got a real bad thought when I presenting. So I think, do you have any do you have any maybe hypnotize ourselves to so we can calm at the moment? That's my question, man. Because when I'm presenting, sometimes I feel is it good enough, or is it am I saying it correctly, or oh damn, I cannot speak what's on my head, what's inside my head, but I said it wrong. Sometimes I feel guilty.
Yes,
So
true.
that's it, ma'am. Can you
Thank
give
you
me
very
the
much.
tips,
That is
maybe?
a very insightful questions, right, where everybody is feeling nervous. So as I mentioned earlier, if you know your research well, you will be able to answer. But okay, sometimes I do feel that the words that we have, all right, is not enough, right? So what I would do, I do have Reader's Digest everywhere I go because I need to improve on my vocab. It's true, like after some years, when you are not, if you are not reading well, your vocabulary tends to degrade, right? Tends to downgrade. So most of the times, my partner, what he would do, he's not a linguist. He's a mechanical graduate. But every night, okay, he would listen to English podcast. And that is how he maintains his vocabulary. And I didn't do that because I'm like so busy. But try to listen to English podcast, right? And then try to speak to yourself in front of the camera, no, in front of the mirror. I was an introvert when I was in school. I was from girls' school, so I was quite introvert. So I joined drama club when I was in school. I practice a lot, I read a lot. So that's why it increases. So what you need to do before you come in, come. All right. Now, when we know our research well, it means that um, not only that you know your research questions, right? You also know what is the problem. Yes, someone said to practice speaking, read aloud during reading. Yes, reading aloud. So if any of you is taking online English proficiency test, all right, um, TOEFL, for example, IELTS and PTE. Right now, I'm dealing with PTE, Pearson Test of English. There is a part where you have to read aloud. All right, the test is reading aloud so that it gives the intelligibility. All right, it is a mouthful. Reading aloud. Okay, so when people ask you questions regarding your oral presentation or your topic or in the conference, if you know your research well, you see, when we are writing, we wrote very academically, right? With bombastic words. We don't say, we find out. You can say that in your oral presentation. We found out. But in writing, you have to say, we discovered. All right? It was discovered. But when in oral presentation, you would say, okay, I found out. You can say that, right? Do not use bombastic words from the writing because the way we write and the way we speak is different because it depends on our mouth structure, all right? And on our native language. It depends on that. Okay, if you are a Japanese or if you are a Javanese, or I'm half Javanese, so most of my pronunciation might be affected, all right, by the Javanese sound, all right, instead of um some words. Okay. Okay. So Dimas, please don't be scared, right? When you are presenting, I know people will think that I don't have enough vocabulary. Yeah, English with logat. Yeah, logat. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, and let me take the call. Okay. Now you might have this is like out of topic for a while. You might have a very large vocabulary, right? For example, you have bombastic words in your mind, but your first language influence you very well. For example, no, but your pronunciation, for example, you want to say confinement. We have confinement, but you say confinement, right? You want to say confirmation, you say confirmation. So that one, if you are taking PTE or if you are taking TOEFL or IELTS, computer IELTS, they wouldn't understand that because your pronunciation is halfway, right? It is okay if you have Javanese accent, Dimas. All right. And which part of Indonesia are you from?
Actually, I'm born in North Sumatra, but I'm currently working in Batam, Riau
Working
Islands
in
province.
Batam. Okay. So I can, when you say province, I can understand you are saying province. Okay, because it's an accent, logat. All right, it's okay. But as long as the pronunciation is there, it's complete. All right, and the computer, the AI can understand you. If you are taking English proficiency test, you get marks. Right, so it's okay. Okay, don't think, oh, I have to speak like American, I have to speak like British. No, all right. It takes time, right? It takes time to sound like a native speaker. Okay, we are not native speaker. Okay, all right.
Thank you very much, Captain.
You're welcome. All right. Any more questions that you would like to ask? So after this, those who are here, all right, those who can attend the workshop, I will give a 3-hour workshop. Please come in with your script and we will look at your script and we will inject. See, I'm using the scientific language. So we are going to inject some attitude and then we are going to look at your uh, paralinguistics elements there. Okay, if there is no questions, I would like to apologize if I make mistakes, everything that any mistakes or any errors came from me, all right, any goodness came from Allah, all right. I would like to wish you all the best. This is for oral presentation. If you would like to know more, please come to the workshop, which is going to be organized by CGS. And you can also contact me, right? You can also contact me by my email, okay? And then I think that is all from me today. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best and good luck in your research, in your presentation, or in anything that you do. May Allah guide you and bless you all. Thank you very much. Amin. Okay, so I will need to stop the recording and I have to leave the room. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Have a good week. Stay safe. Right? Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank
Much,
you, Doctor.
Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.